about CE5 and extraterrestrial contact, download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.
Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Don Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. It's gonna be another good one. Yeah, so I have a guest coming on here pretty soon, but her name is Marisol. All right, so she's been on my podcast before, but I thought it'd be interesting to bring her up again, because there's just a lot of stories that come out of ufology and extraterrestrials, and I've been reading a lot of contact stories, right, that really coincide with with hers and John Dickinson's, right? They kind of they kind of mesh together, but they blend together so well because of the stories and what happened to them in their youth, right? So I hope you guys caught the last podcast with Mr. John Dickinson here on Alien Strand Podcast. Amazing podcast. You know what? Thank you guys for listening to the show. I mean, we got a lot of hits on that. I guess you guys were sharing it out there. Thank you for that. Thank you, John, as well, for coming out and giving you your story and telling everybody some little extra things that we didn't get to know from the first one, right? So we appreciate you, John. Thank you. And, if you're new to ufology, well, welcome to ufology. Welcome to Alien Strand Podcast, because we're here to help you understand ufology, understand extraterrestrials, understand the space, time, anything like that, Bigfoot, everything out there, spirits, the unknown. We're out here to throw it out to everybody, because listening to this podcast, you have to have an open mind, man. I don't care who you are. You have to have an open mind. And if you're closed-minded, it might not be part of your partay, right? Partay, or however you want to say it. But anyway, we like to give a lot of stories out there, and I give a lot of information on extraterrestrials, right? Because we need to know exactly what's out there, right? And what better way to do it is on this podcast and our films. Hello, you knew that one was coming. So go watch the metal films. They're on Amazon Prime. Go check them out. There's some on Tubi TV for free. Yes, go check those out as well. There's part 1 and part 2. I believe they're on Tubi TV. Yeah, Roku too. If you have a Roku channel, we're on Roku channel. Look for The Middle. You'll see it on there. Type it in. There's a free one on there. There's another one on a different channel. But hey, you be the judge of that one. Whichever one you want. You want commercials or you don't want commercials, hey, that's what it is. But I hope you guys enjoy these films. That we put a lot of hard work into them, and then we have a fourth one coming. Yes, we do. So we're in the middle of editing still on that. I've been talking about it for quite some time. I stopped for a while, for a good 4 or 5 months, but I've got back on editing all over again. Here we go. We're going to get that film out to you guys because there's a lot of good people on there. Mr. Anibal Quiñones Caballero and Miss Jody's on there as well from Arizona. Man, she got some incredible stuff that you guys have to see on this last film, all right? So, but it's just the strange things that happen out here in the skies and around human nature, right? because us as people and living human beings, living, breathing, and everything, we want to get along with each other, and we try to look at things in a different perspective as far as extraterrestrials, spiritualism, things like that. But today we're going to talk about spiritualism a little bit, and we're going to talk about ABEs, if you want to call them that, or the Greys, and we're going to talk about the shiny ones as well with Miss Marisol. So she's going to bring all that in the forefront so you guys can hear our conversation that we have. But during this podcast, if you can, click us a like or subscribe if you're listening on YouTube or Amazon Prime or Amazon Music or Spotify. Give us a thumbs up. iHeartRadio, we're everywhere. Podbean, Castbox, you name it. You can even ask Alexa to play some Strand podcast. Yes, you will. So go ahead and do that. And it just helps get all this information out to many people as possible, because that's what we're trying to do, is spread out the information. So you guys, when you watch these documentaries or even the shows that they have on the History Channel and about unsolved mysteries and UFOs and everything like that, at least you'll have some kind of general knowledge of extraterrestrials by listening to this show. Even watching it on Patreon, you can catch a lot of my presentations on Patreon, video presentations as well, not just the audio. I do have some on there, and I'll be getting another one out on Patreon here pretty soon, a video podcast actually this week. I'll be throwing that out for special members or members. If you are a member, please join for free. You'll be able to watch it. Yeah, you will. But if you're not a member, you can't see it until you become a member. And you know what? How much it's going to cost you? Nothing. It's free. Go to Patreon. Go check us out there. And I hope you guys watch my next presentation, because I'll be giving you a lot of information on extraterrestrials and UFOs. I'll be showing a lot of videos and a lot of photos, pictures, and a lot of evidence, really in reality, of what's walking around us when we're not really looking. Yeah, almost like creepy things, man, out there, creepy. So, yeah, that's what it is. But as I was talking about spiritualism, things like that, we have to have an open mind. And when we have this conversation with Marisol, we start talking about things like that. We get real deep into some conversations. So I hope you guys really enjoy this podcast. Of course, there's going to be a description after this podcast is over. You can be able to find Marisol's Facebook. I'll put a link to her there, and go to all my links to find all my links, which is Alien Strand, the films. You can find everything there without having to look for us all over Google. Right? But still, if you want to Google us, you can Google my name as well. And, you know what? If you haven't seen Roswell at 75 by Fox TV, I'm in that one. You'll see me in that one. I come out and I do a couple of special guest appearances on that one. Go check it out. Roswell at 75, free on Tubi TV. Free. You can't beat free, right? Free. All right, go check it out. Anyway, let's go ahead and get going. And let's talk to Miss Marisol. We had a recorded interview, so I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. And please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. It's going to be a great information on what happened to her as a child and as an adult. All right, here we go. All right, on the phone we have Marisol, and she's going to give us a lot of information on her upcoming book that's coming up next year. So how you doing, Marisol? Are you on the phone?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yes. I'm excited because I remember we've been talking about this on Alien Strand Disclosure Project on our little back feed that we have on Instant Messenger. Yes, and we have pretty good conversations, and at times you've been throwing it out there, giving us little hints about your book. So, do you have a title for your book already?
I was thinking of titling it The Visitors.
The Visitors.
But
right.
that's, The Visitors.
Okay.
Or either that or The Shining Ones. It's just been tremendous experience, and it's been life-altering for me. Right.
And the reason you're writing the book is because you've had experiences with, of course, extraterrestrial beings. We had a podcast last year, I believe, you and I, right? And we talked about that.
Mm-hmm. Basically, I decided to write the book because of not only my experience, but because of the children. My experiences started very early in my life. I was only 3 years old. Thank goodness at that stage in my life, I was very innocent. I really still didn't understand what was happening. and it wasn't scary. But as things progressed, as I got older, things changed, and it has really changed my view on who really is in control of the human race and the planet.
Right, and
I had no idea.
we've been seeing a lot of changes to the planet, and a lot of things have been happening lately. Of course, if you're heavy on social media, not just that, but even on the news, right? You see a lot of good stuff happening on the news about the changes that are coming and stuff. But let's dive back a little bit. If people don't know who you are, we had a conversation about you getting abducted in the past when you were had some visitors as a child when you were living in was it Connecticut? I'm trying to remember where it was.
Yes, I was living in Hartford. I was born in Hartford. I had my first experience. I was, I believe, 1966. I was only 3 years old. These blue little children would come into my room and they would play with me. They would levitate me. Sometimes they would take me somewhere. I would find myself sitting with other children and a couple of these little blue children, and we would play these puzzle games. Every time I solved one of them, they would levitate.
Wow.
It was fun. I didn't feel any fear. And I was only 3. I thought everybody had blue friends that would play with them at night. I had no idea.
Wow.
But then in 69, I was 6 years old. I was taken by the Greys. It was a hot summer day. We had church activities. It was really hot, so I was tired. I was just a kid. I went to bed, and I heard some crying, and I thought it was my siblings, but the crying wasn't my siblings. I could tell that it was different voices, and I could hear like adults. I was afraid to open my eyes because I felt like it was, I thought it was my brother. I had an older brother who was an alcoholic, and sometimes he would pop up and pay a visit, but he would make us cry, and my siblings cry, and I didn't want to come out of the room if it was him.
Wow.
But curiosity took over, and I opened my eyes, and I was surrounded by these Greys. I was completely freaked out, scared, terrified. It was the most scary experience I had. They had me on this table. I could see my body on this table. I could see my guts. I don't know how to explain it, but it made my skin like translucent.
Yeah.
Where I can see through myself.
Wow.
And I guess they sensed that I was panicking. I couldn't move, but I could slightly move my head, and I saw this boy. He was just standing there, and I could hear him telling me, "It's going to be okay." So that calmed me, and the light came off of the table. I wasn't translucent anymore, and the table started like tipping down. I tried to make myself heavy so that they wouldn't take me. But that didn't help me. I was levitated and floating behind these Greys, where they led me to it was like a space on this ship. It looked like a closet, a huge like cubbyhole kind of a closet thing. You could fit like a family of maybe like 3 or 4. They were big. I was only 6, so to me it seemed huge, you know. They put me in there, but before I got there, I saw these flashes of light where the people were in these cubbyholes would disappear. So I didn't want to go in the cubbyhole. I wanted to be with the little boy free and to find a way out. So they put me in the cubbyhole, but before they did that, I saw this girl. She was crouched down in the cubbyhole, and the look on her face was of complete and utter terror. So obviously she was seeing the same thing I was seeing. So my heart was just like I don't know how I didn't have a heart attack at that point.
Yeah.
But once I got in the cubbyhole, the little boy tried to help me, but he couldn't. There was some sort of a force field of some kind that was translucent. I could see him, he could see me like a window, but I couldn't get through.
Wow.
He couldn't get me out. And then the flash happened, and I ended up outside. My parents were pastors. I was taught to believe in God, and I believe in God. I was taught to believe in, angels and demons, but I never thought of it like that until that happened to me. They left me outside once that flash happened, and when I was in the cubbyhole, it beamed me outside of my house, and it stayed on me, and I couldn't move. I was laying flat on my back in the backyard of my house, and I'm looking up, and I could see this huge craft. It was huge. I mean, the whole house, it covered our house, the house next door, and it was just huge. I couldn't see stars. I could just see these lights from the ship and these three beings. And once the beings went back into the ship, the light came off. I was in complete and utter shock. I sat up. I felt my clothes were kind of like wet, moist, like I had gotten wet and kind of almost dried off. So I tried to wake up my older sister so she can let me in, and without disturbing my parents. So I did that. I got some rocks, and I woke my sister up, who at that point, she's 4 years older than me, so she's 10. And so she tries to open the door, but my mom got there. And she was furious to see that I was outside. Now, mind you, we had just moved into this house. It hadn't been, I don't know, very long, not even a year.
Right.
And this happens to me. I'm glad that they left me in my backyard, because if they had left me somewhere else, I would have never found my way home.
Right.
But they left me in my backyard. My sister tried to open the door, but my mom got there. Told me to ask me how I got outside. But I didn't even know how to explain how I got outside. So I went to bed, and she says, well, in the morning, you're going to explain to your dad how you got outside. And I went up to get breakfast, and we're all sitting there, and my dad walks into the kitchen, and he sits down, and my mom says, well, I want you to explain to your dad that you were outside. She said something to him to the fact, someone was outside last night that shouldn't have been outside. And he looked kind of shocked. And she looks at me, and then he realizes it's me. So he asked me. He says, well, how did you get outside? Excuse me, I'm having a drink of water. So I said, Dad, you and Mom are right. Demons really do exist, and they took me last night and left me outside. My father was furious. He backhanded me, and I fell, and the food fell on me. I ran into my bedroom and hid.
Right.
I didn't speak about it. I was completely terrified. I didn't know why I got hit. I did tell the truth. I was completely...
Well, I mean, they probably just didn't understand. I mean, they didn't understand at the time.
No, I don't think Daddy understood.
No, he didn't.
I don't.
He didn't.
I don't think he.
Yeah.
But he's a pastor. Yeah, I don't.
Right, and
I just thought that he would believe me. I thought that he would not react the way he did, but he acted in a very violent way.
Right.
And that made me not want to say anything. So I had to find a way of expressing it. So I was drawing these beings. In art class in school, I would draw these little guys with the big heads and big black eyes. And I don't know how much time passed by, but these men came to our house. This black car drove to our house, and I see them parking where my dad usually parks. So I go tell my mom, I says, Mommy, these men are coming, and they're parked in that space. And so she opens the door, and it's these two men. They were dressed in navy blue suits with fedoras,
Yeah.
black fedoras. And they looked anywhere from the age of maybe, I don't know, 35, 40 years old, like my parents, about their age. And they separate the children from my parents. They take me, my sisters, and my brothers, and they put us in one room, and they take my mom and my dad to the kitchen. And in the kitchen, they have like a swinging door that, it swings. So I could hear the door swinging, and one of them would leave the kitchen and come and look in on us.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would go back, and I would hear my dad like crying. I had never heard my father in distress ever in my life. So I'm terrified. I hear my dad like he's crying or something and pleading.
Right.
I can't really make out what they're saying, but it must have been pretty bad. So then they come into the room and they take all of my pictures. They take all my drawings. They take my brother's drawings. They took things that had nothing to do with the drawings.
Right.
I mean, they left all our stuff in a mess.
Oh.
And they left.
Well, I mean, you were saying that the when you were laying in the grass or when you were in that block or box, and you could see the ship in the bottom, that it was huge. It covered your house. It covered the neighbor's house. So we're talking, this thing's huge. So in other words, if these guys were part of the Men in Black, or let's just say part of the military industrial complex, that means that they were already catching this thing on radar, or they saw it from a distance, or somebody called them and said this large ship was over your home, right? So they probably wanted to know, who, which house this ship or UFO or whatever you want to call it, which house it went into or took, or people that it had any kind of meeting with, right? Which was you, right? Do you remember if they had walked maybe to the neighbor's house or anybody across the street, anything like that, or they just went directly to your house?
They went directly to our house, straight to our house.
Okay.
Like they parked the car right where my dad usually parks the car. And my dad was parked across the street. I don't understand why my dad never parks across the street. He usually parks right in front of the house.
Right.
So I'm like, I see this beautiful, it was a nice car. It was completely black with that really big chrome on it. And I see these men, and they look like official men, like government men.
Right.
You could tell by the way they carried themselves. I mean, very, very military-like.
And you're talking like what? What'd you say? 1960.
1969, 1970.
In 1970.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember. I was alive then, so I remember. I remember how everything looked back then. And growing up as a small child and being in those huge cars. I mean, being in those cars were so big, it felt like you were in a bus when you were actually just in the regular family car, right?
It was a nice car.
Yeah, I remember those days.
It was nice.
Yeah, so
I had a lot of chrome.
And I can picture those. Yeah, my dad had like 3 cars like that. Had a lot of chrome, and so I know that these people were probably officials, and they were actually look, man. If they went straight to your house, guaranteed they were watching. So they already knew. They were probably tracking this thing. I mean, not like what the technology that we have today, but back then they had just standard radar, but they knew what area it was, and they had radios back then, so they knew how to communicate back and forth, right, with this little walkie-talkie thing. Anyway, so in other words, they went straight to your home. They put the fear-mongering into your family. Okay, so what happened after that? Did you guys end up moving, or did you start having more episodes after that?
No, something else happened after that. We didn't move. But then now it's I'm 9. So it's 1972. And there was a thunderstorm, really bad storm. You could hear the lightning. I'm scared of lightning. So my sister and I have been roommates since I was a baby. So I'm 9, and she's gonna be like what? She's 14, 13, or about 14 years old.
Right.
So she's laying on the bed by the window, and I'm laying on the other bed by the wall. And I asked her, I said, Naomi, can I please sleep with you? Can you scoot over and let me sleep with you? Because I'm scared of the lightning, and I'm scared. And she says, no, stay in your bed. And she covers herself up from head to toe with her blanket. So I hear the lightning getting closer, the thunder, and I see the lightning getting closer. So I sit up. I'm ready to run out of my room because it's very loud and I'm scared. So I see the lightning come in a flash. And suddenly my sister's blanket sinks down. She's not there anymore. Now I wanted to run. My first instinct was to just run out of the room and go tell mom and dad.
Wow.
But because of how I was treated the first time, I just sat there and waited.
Right.
Terrified. Okay, I was like frozen, scared. I wanted, just thinking, when is she coming back? What happened? Should I go tell mom and dad? I didn't. I was too scared to move, and I didn't want her to get what I got when I told my dad what happened.
Let's hold that thought real quick. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back after this message.
Whispers, soft and bright, they glow against the fading light. Oh, they see us, oh, they know every shadow, every glow. The shiny ones, they come to save. Through the dark, their light will pave. The shiny ones with hearts of gold, guarding us as stories.
Alien Strand Podcast.
With a song no ear can hear, they break the walls of doubt and fear. Oh, they guide us.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's getting a lot of information with Miss Marisol as we talk about her experiences with extraterrestrial and impossible abduction. So we were talking about how they came the second time, and this time they took your sister. So go ahead and let's go ahead and finish that conversation.
So I'm waiting there. I don't know how much time passed by. It seemed like forever. Suddenly the lightning comes again and the huge thunder. And I see in the lightning a man. And to me, it looked like Moses. Now, mind you, all I know is about God and scripture. And all I had as a reference was the pictures in the Bible of what Jesus and Moses and the way they dressed and how they looked.
Right.
The person that I saw had hair up to his shoulders. He had a beard, and he was wearing clothes like Moses or Jesus would wear, those robes.
Right.
He had it was white on one side and kind of like a maroon brownish sash on the other side. And then on his waist, it was like a purple golden sash. So I see this flash of this man, and she's back. So I'm happy my sister's back, and I asked her, I said, Naomi, I said, was that Moses? And she goes, no, that wasn't Moses. That was Jesus. I'm like,
wow.
how do you know it was Jesus? She goes, he took me by the hand. And when he extended his hand to me, I saw he had holes in his wrist. And I says, well, where did you go? You were gone for a long time. She goes, he took me to a garden. And he showed me all these beautiful animals and all these beautiful things. And I looked at his feet. And he had holes on the top of his feet. That's how I know it was Jesus. So I go to sleep happy. I am so excited. My sister saw Jesus. You know, now I feel protected. I don't have that fear of the lightning or something getting me at night because Jesus came to get her. So that gave me an indication that God was watching over me.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's backtrack a little bit. You know, I've been doing a lot of digging, and I talk about, you know, how these grays are, how they're manipulators as well. And there's some out there that's the way they are, you know, and they're not. I'm going to put it to you this way: 80% of those, they're not your friends, okay? Because like your friend, you can have a friend and they'll talk to you, they'll smile, and everything. These things just have a plain look on their face. They grab you, they take you, they abduct you, they do awful things to people. You know, a friend doesn't do that. Okay. So me, I've kind of put this together as these extraterrestrials as a darker entity. It's not something that have any kind of feelings, emotions, or anything that's that's attached to you in any certain kind of way. All right, and I do believe in the spiritualism of God and Jesus and all that myself. But I do think that there is a. I was going to just kind of say maybe because you were so afraid that, you know, as a child going through that and then doing it again, and then of course the second one wasn't very, very nice or friendly. It was just something to remember by. But then the third time when you see your sister, it might have been an affirmation of saying, hey, you are protected, or you guys are protected in a certain sense. Now, if people out there, depends if you're into spiritualism or good versus bad or good versus evil. I mean, evil does exist. We know that, right? And but what a lot of these extraterrestrials do are not friendly visits, right? They just come and take you. They don't ask you, say, hey,
they take you. Yeah. They take your eggs, your sperm, your DNA. Yes. They do whatever they do to you, and then they leave you there.
Right, exactly. And then you're scarred, and then you have post-traumatic stress disorder, and then it's kind of like having fear as well, like because you were afraid the second time or the third time because you thought they were coming for you again, right? So
I was really scared. I think because of the flash,
right?
Whenever I saw like lightning, the flashes, it's very, very similar. The light is blinding,
right? And I've heard stories that they're manipulators as well, right? That they can change form. They can make you see things that are not actually there, right? Or make it look like something that it's not. Because they're in your mind already, they're already tapped into you. Just like when we talked about, I don't know if you heard.
Oh yes, I mean, if you notice them, that's all it takes. Like, even you don't even have. All they have to do is be just within a few feet from you, and just they paralyze you. It's like they make you immobile. Like they take control of your consciousness immediately.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that's what
you feel helpless.
Well, me and John Dickinson, we talked about that in this last podcast. I don't know if you caught a little bit of that, but I mean, we talked about that kind of deep about it because he couldn't understand the consciousness and the subconsciousness because they made him feel like our life is a subconscious. What we're living in, we're like us talking right now, that it's a subconscious and they are in the conscious world, right? So it's like, are they manipulating him saying, kind of flipping the script here, right? Or is it the other way around, right? I mean, we really, really don't know. And, until you close your eyes.
Whatever gets the job done for them is what they're going to do.
Right, exactly.
These little gray things, they don't have souls.
Right.
They're just some sort of a mechanical, biological thing that is just there to do a job. That's why it's not emotionally connected to anything, to your plight or whatever is going to happen to you. And many people that have been able to tell their story are lucky.
Yes.
Because I've heard of people that never come back.
Right.
Or are never brought back. One thing I also thought, as I got older, these things, these memories and these things, you kind of like remember them like a dream. Unless they're a traumatic event, those stay. A very frightening things like an abduction to a child, like what happened to me and many millions of other children out there who are now adults. It's scarring. This is why I sought out on Facebook, because I felt like a crazy lady. I couldn't really, whoever you really try to talk to, even family members, they give you that look.
Yeah.
And, it's just their whole way of treating you completely changes.
Right.
And you can sense that. So I've been through that, and I'm sure many other people. Children are the ones that really I write the book for, and I want parents and people to know that this is happening to your child.
Right.
You're not aware of it, but it is happening. And if your child tells you something, pay close attention. Children aren't designed to lie.
Right. And they have the innocence. It's the innocence and the aura of the innocence, right? Because when you're a child, you don't know how to judge people. You don't know how to be a mean person. You don't know how to do any of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're innocent. You're innocent, completely innocent. When as a child or getting abducted by a child, or even them seeing ghosts, or even them seeing God, or them seeing angels, or them seeing something, or a person that has passed away, like a grandparent or somebody or a parent. You have to believe what they say, because they are witnessing or experiencing something that's pure, because they are still pure themselves.
Well, I don't know, but I was born in Connecticut. I don't know about where other people. But Connecticut is a very haunted place. Yeah. It is a very old place. Hartford is, it's a haunted place. There's a lot of paranormal activity there. A lot of places are just saturated with spirits.
Right.
I, because of the way we were brought up, of seeing and playing with Ouija boards, or seeing the dead or talking to them is a taboo thing.
Right.
But you do see them, and a child is more susceptible to seeing things because children are very pure and innocent.
Right.
They don't have any that blinder that people start growing in their eyes as they get older and indoctrinated into whatever is happening outside of their world. It's really life altering. I write this because a lot of people are, my mom and my dad, they weren't aware of this stuff. I was playing with these little blue kids, and they were floating me right by my mom and dad's bed. I'm looking at my mom and dad sleeping.
Wow.
My mom and dad were asleep, oblivious to what was happening.
Yeah. Wow.
And some kids, wake up out of it just like some adults. They kind of like tend to get out of that trance, and they become very lucid. And that happened to me as well. And that was
Well, I mean, it's
Let
just,
me tell you that all these experiences for me have really changed my way of thinking.
well, yeah.
I no longer doubt that we have visitors. We have visitors. They've been here for a very long time.
Yes. Yeah,
and they're going to keep on coming.
that's for sure. As far as that, we were talking about how people will judge you, because you believe in aliens, or you believe in angels, or you even believe in God or whatever. People will still judge you because, I mean, I've been doing podcasting for a while now, right? For about 6 or 7 years now. And of course, I made the films of the alien strand and the middle and everything I've done, right? And I still have family members that will come up to me and talk to me and say, "How you doing, Mr. Alien Man?" And they'll put their fingers in the air like quotation marks, right? So it's like, it's kind of making fun of me in a sense, but in a sense they have.
But you got to laugh it off.
And I do, but they have this look like. Should I believe him or not? You know what I'm trying to say here? So it's like they're laughing at me, but they're not, because they're like thinking, well, he's done a lot of stuff on this stuff on the extraterrestrials, right?
It's kind of hard to live with it throughout your whole life because you don't expect. I personally, I wasn't really putting it together, okay, because how it happened, and it didn't happen all the time. It was like there would be years that would go by and nothing would happen.
Right.
And then you begin to grow and mature, and these events start becoming like a dream.
Right.
So, you think, well, maybe I dreamed it. You try to convince yourself to try to be normal, unquote, normal, and fit in. So when it happened again, now I'm gonna skip. It kept on happening from the age of 3 until the age of about 18. Then it stopped, and then it happened again. Now from the age of 14 to 18, they would take my consciousness. They would take me, my consciousness. My body would be left here, but I would be with them doing things. They were showing me different things. I don't know how to explain it. These tunnels, these walls with hieroglyphs. It was just, I thought these things were dreams until later on in life when Facebook came out and other people talked about their experiences and how they were seeing these things, and I was like, oh my God, this must have been what was happening to me, but I thought it was a dream. Now, when I was 25 years old was when I met the Shining Ones. Now, mind you, I had left church. My parents divorced. Once my sister Naomi got married, in 1974, we moved in 75 to Massachusetts, to Springfield. I no longer went to church. I stopped going to church, and I lost my faith. And I can't blame my dad, but yeah, I blame him. It's just gonna be. I'm honest. I'm not gonna lie to anybody.
Right.
Okay. My dad was a pastor. Everyone looked up to him, including his children. And then he abandons us, and my mom is left behind with us to explain to about 300 church members what happened to the pastor and why he's not coming back.
Wow.
And so you see your mom humiliated, the church divides itself, people stay, and the majority of the people left.
Right.
And my mom is left in tears with just us and God to comfort her.
Right. So naturally,
I didn't go to church.
Right.
Yeah.
Naturally, that threw you guys, the whole family, in a spiral downhill because of
Yes.
You start losing your faith that way in a sense. But
Well, not completely. I lost my faith in my father.
right. And
Yeah.
and I can't blame you for that. Nobody can. It's just what happened. And it, unfortunately, it threw you guys in a different direction. In reality, I'm sure that
It really did.
And then people
and I
people
never
talk.
thought in my life after that
Right.
that I'd ever talk to anyone about God, angels, or any such thing.
Well, let's take a quick break. Let's take another quick break. All right, and we'll be back after these messages.
Through the veils of the silver skies, they descend with their quiet eyes. Winds like whispers, soft and bright. They glow against the fading night. Oh, they see us. Oh, they know every shadow, every glow. The shiny ones, they come to save. Through the dark, their light will pave. The shiny ones, with hearts of gold. Calling us
Alien Strand Podcast.
with a song no ear can hear. They break the walls of doubt and fear. Oh, they guide us. Oh, they know every shadow.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hope you guys are enjoying today's content and conversation with Miss Marisol as we talk about her experiences with extraterrestrials and spiritualism as well. So we were talking about the shiny ones, how these other spiritual beings introduce themselves to you. Now, we were talking about how you're the church and you had left the church, and so how did these new beings come to you? How did this happen?
Okay, now I am living in Southington. I'm staying with my sister. She's in Southington, beautiful condo. Huge wall is just a complete window. So we went out that night, got home, took a shower, and I went to sleep on the couch. And my sister, she went to her bedroom. So I'm sleeping, and suddenly, I don't know, I was asleep. I don't know how long it took for me to fall asleep, but I felt a light on my face. I see this, I open my eyes, I see light, but I can't really make out a craft or anything, just this bright light in my face. So I close my eyes and I turn my back towards, away from the light. I thought for a moment it's my sister's boyfriend. He used to work for the military and he used to fly helicopters and repair them. So sometimes he would take the helicopter for a ride, fly above the condo and shine his lights down sometimes, So I thought that was him. I turned away and just went to sleep. Excuse me. So suddenly, I find myself outside, and I'm barefoot. Now, what woke me and made me aware is the cold of the grass. I felt my feet were cold.
Oh, wow.
I was asleep. Now my feet are cold. I'm standing outside the condo I didn't notice him at first. I look to my right and I see like this black thing. I couldn't really make out what it was. It was really big and black. But then as I'm looking up, I start seeing a glowing head, like a head. This thing's head was huge. It had big eyes, not the black eyes like the gray.
Right.
But it had these big eyes, and he was about, I don't know, maybe 8-9 foot tall. But what he was wearing made him look like the night. Like it made him camouflaged with everything around him, except his head.
Wow.
So I find myself walking with this being to the back where there's like a wooded area. Now, I didn't see a ship. All I saw was trees and this glowing head being next to me. He waves his hand, and suddenly I see, like, I don't know how to explain it. It was a ball of light. It opened up like a light in the sky, like in the air. A portal, what they call now.
Yes.
It was a portal. He opened up a portal, and I walked with him through that portal. Now I'm trying to convince myself that I'm dreaming. This is really not happening to me. I'm not really comfortable with what's going on, but I'm trying really hard to make sense of what is happening to me. So once I go through this portal light thing, I find myself in this what appeared to be a ginormous, I don't know, it was huge. I don't know, a giant ship. This ship had a floating marble wall thing. It was a floating marble wall. It was floating maybe like 12 to 24 inches off the ground on this ship. He walks to the glowing head man, walks to this wall, and he waves his hands. And these light things started coming out. And I thought I was going to get burned. So I kind of like moved back away from it. But I'm seeing that these fiery light ball things are turning into things like, I don't know, solar systems or something, stars. But I am trying to figure out what is going on. I am awake. I am not dreaming. This is really happening to me. I am freaking out. I am telling you, if I could have run, I would have run, but I didn't know where to run. I mean, this thing was huge. I think I would have gotten lost in there.
Wow.
I'm looking, and I see this like archway to my right, and it has like a golden trimming, and it looked like a door within a door within a door. Like, you know, when you walk into a castle and you open up these huge doors.
Right.
Well, it was like that.
Okay.
But there were no doors. It was just like archways, but it was like archway and an archway and an archway, like that, as you go down through this thing. So at some point, I'm feeling thirsty. So I asked for water. And I think they were taking too long, so I asked again. And this being showed up in front of me. Now, he didn't look like a gray. Maybe he had the almond eyes, kind of like a gray, but he looked more like a sea person. His skin was completely white, like a grayish white. And he had like, his mouth was small, like almost like a fish. And he had like two things on the side that looked like a mustache. You know how when a catfish has those things?
Like a whisker, yeah.
Yeah, like a whisker thing. He had whisker things like that. He gave me this drink. And I drank it. And as soon as I drank this drink, I didn't have any more thirst, but I started hearing voices, like voices around me.
Right.
And then I started seeing other entities, other beings. It really shocked me. There were people there like us, like they looked human. They could be human. I thought they were human. But then there were others that were not human at all. Some of them were really tall and slender. They looked like the night. I don't know if they were wearing the same thing as the glowy head guy. And then there was one that was like a light being, and he was luminous. He kind of like gave a look like off of his back, like a butterfly wings made of light.
Do you think that they picked you to show you something, and also before you took that drink, you didn't see anybody in there, just that one figure.
No, just me and that pink, huge wall thing and the glowy head tall man. Honestly, you know what I think he was? I think he was an Igigi.
That could have been.
An Igigi? I don't know. But he gave me a vibe like he was following orders from the other guy, the shining one.
What?
The shining one that came.
Do you know that
after
that the drink that he gave you, did it taste like? Do you remember if it tasted like water or did it taste like some kind of drink? Do you remember kind of like if it had any flavor to it?
No, it had no flavor.
Okay.
It was a little thick, just a little bit. It had a little bit of a consistency like cough syrup, but it didn't taste like anything like water.
Did you feel like you were? Did you feel like you were in like now, like you're in your consciousness, or did you feel like you were in a dream state?
No, I felt like I feel now, very lucid and very scared, and it traumatized me.
Well, the only reason I asked that is because I don't know if you've heard of DMT. I think you've heard of that before, where if you take a tiny bit of that, and it opens up this gland in your brain.
Oh no, I've done that. This was completely different.
Yeah, no. I'm just trying to say that maybe that it's something similar to that, to where it's. I'm not going to say it was a hallucinogenic, but
it wasn't.
But something to open up your mind a little bit more to see what you can see.
It was something to help me communicate, most definitely.
Yeah,
and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, after all that was over and I was back home, my sister and I went out and we were sitting and we were waiting for our food, and I could hear people's thoughts. So much so that I had to leave the restaurant,
right,
call my mother, ask her to pray for me, because I thought that something really horrible was happening to me and I was losing my mind.
Wow. Yeah. That'd drive you nuts. If you could hear
it lasted for 3 months. Whatever they gave me to drink lasted 3 months.
Wow.
And it was very terrifying. I even went to see a psychiatrist. I thought there was really something really wrong with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever they gave you, it might have just give you a jolt in your brain that opened it up a little bit more. In other words, you're seeing things that you're not supposed to see, and maybe that's.
I'm a lot more aware.
Yeah,
yes.
I was just going to say that. Then that's how you are now because of it. Because I know you're very intuitive, things like that. But at the same time, we're always watching what's going on in the world as far as catastrophes, earthquakes, volcanoes have been going crazy and blowing up. All last year, there's a bunch of volcanoes going off and then earthquakes that we've been having here recently. Now, so we were talking about how that with that spiritualism and you're talking about these the shiny ones, right? And it's a more of a positive place.
It's not like I thought.
Right. But
they're not like I thought.
But it puts you in a more positive state of mind when you were experiencing that. So and I'm just gonna say here, what's to say they're not out there always watching, right? Like the Watchers or like the book The Watchers, but the different kind, because they're shiny ones, right?
Oh yeah.
And what I wanted to bring up was that comet, it's not even a comet, it's a big freaking meteor that's been shooting this way, right? And so I was watching a video on that today, and when I was watching it, it was saying that it was coming right, it was changing its trajectory, and it was coming a little bit closer towards Mars, in between Mars and Earth, in between both of those, right? And then once it went, apparently the sun, because of its intensity, started shooting out these large solar flares that were popping out of the sun, right? So as this meteor was coming, right, or let's just say interstellar object that was coming, that at that exact moment, the solar flare hit the tail end of that comet or interstellar object, and threw the trajectory off into a different direction, right? What is the chances, right? What are the chances of that happening? And at that exact moment where if that flare hadn't gone off, it would be coming this direction, right, or closer towards us, where we would be seeing a lot more crap.
Most likely,
maybe hitting the planet. Like I'm not saying a direct hit, but maybe possible just remnants of it that's going to be hitting. But what are the chances that happened at that exact moment? Right. So, and that's where I'm talking about, like, we're talking about spiritualism, right? We're talking about the shining ones. We're talking about positive energies and things that are out there in the universe that possibly, helped say, okay, wait a minute, Earth's not ready to go yet. Let's go on and help them out now. Right. And who's to say that these shining ones or the positive ones out there that are helping, that shot the trajectory from this 3i Atlas interstellar object, they made it shoot a different direction, but now it's shooting towards a little bit closer towards Mars, right? So, and that's going to be that's the different part of that. I wanted to bring that up to you. What are your thoughts about that possibility, and why do you think that maybe happened?
Honestly, I don't know why that happened, but what I do think is that this thing has been here before. I believe that not only this thing, but also the Momoa one.
Yeah.
And I also, it's sending signals out.
Right.
If it wasn't under some sort of an intelligent control, how would it be sending signals out?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's huge. So, I don't know, if I were an alien, not that we're not, let me rephrase that. If I were out to just explore the universe, I designed myself a fit something like that, where not only I can sustain a fleet of people, or and also have a source of endless energy to do so.
But
A moving planet. It's huge.
It's huge, yeah, and it traveled out of our interstellar galaxy, from a different galaxy it came from. And they've been tracking this thing for just a couple of months. They weren't tracking it for years and 100 years. It was in a couple of months, and it shot it that fast from there to here, right? So and that was the strange part about that. I wanted to bring that up in this podcast today, because I thought it was important that what you're talking about, and when we talked about the negative and the positive of what you have been experiencing, that I do believe in spiritualism. I do believe in positive energies. I believe in positive frequencies, and
definitely
that resonate within us, the Earth, because we're part of the Earth. We're all part of it, man. It's like our molecules and
I didn't
everything.
understand. Okay, when you go to church and being a pastor's daughter, all you want to do is be saved.
Right.
You don't want your friends to die, your family. You don't want anything to happen to your planet.
Right.
And as we get older, and our minds expand, and life hits us with reality, and all those things that we believed in we become more skeptical. I did, personally. I stopped believing. I thought it was all just a story to control people.
Right.
Until this happened to me. Now, I didn't know about these Anunnakis. I did know about the Shining Ones and the Watchers from Scripture. As I'm telling you, all that I know is from Scripture. And I had lost my faith. So when I had this experience with the Shining One, I didn't expect it. Here I am in this ship with this glowing head, 9-foot tall being, and suddenly I see this shining sun. It looked like the sun was literally walking towards me. In the beginning, I could not see any arms or legs or even a head. I thought it was the sun. But as it started getting closer to me, I saw how it swayed from side to side like someone walking.
Right.
And that frightened me. I didn't know what I was looking at. So I'm saying in my mind, oh my God, what is this?
Right.
What kind of an angel is this? You know, because it looked like light. The only thing in scripture that emits light would be an angelic being.
Right.
You know, so I thought as it got closer that it was God.
Right.
It was extremely tall. I did not expect you could feel the vibration of this being throughout your whole. It demands respect.
Right.
Like when you see someone that you really admire, like a king or a queen, and you have respect for them. I thought it was God. So I'm kneeling before this 24-foot tall shining person, because as he got closer, he had arms, he had 2 legs, he had a head, big, beautiful blue eyes. He didn't look any older than me. I was 24, 25.
Wow.
But he was obviously hundreds of years older than me.
Yeah, maybe longer.
And what he showed me was incredible, and I didn't feel worthy. He told me to stand up and not kneel before him because he was just like me. And I'm trying to figure out, well, what is he talking about? I really thought that I had died and that I was with God.
Wow. Yeah.
Something happened to me. I died and I'm with God now.
Yeah.
But no, he was a shining one, and he was showing me how they had a hand in creating human life on this planet, that they not only created human life on this planet, but they're also here to look after it, that the human race was brought here from somewhere else. We're not from here. We came from somewhere else.
Yeah, I believe that, and I've talked about that because the human DNA strand, when you go back from the very beginning, it's older than the planet Earth. So
he told me that they carried our seeds from far.
Yeah, so it was before Earth was even made or whatever. Our DNA goes longer than that.
Think about itself. That thing that's coming. That 3-eye atlas.
Right.
That in itself could be a huge vessel filled with all kinds of life.
Could be. I mean, look at the video. That guy from where was it? Panama.
I didn't see that, yeah.
The guy from Panama that
thing, yeah.
That asteroid.
That was creepy.
That asteroid that fell, and then he got the remnants of it, and then it started growing and growing and growing, and he threw it in the water in an army base, in an old abandoned army, and then it started swimming. I mean,
now he's sick from it.
Well, he had his hands all in it when he first got a hold of it.
Oh my gosh.
And that's a big no-no, because that's what they say. Even
definitely.
Yeah, you're not supposed to touch an extraterrestrial being, for one, because they might have some
not at all
biological pathogens that will get you sick, like that man in Brazil, that one that the soldier that passed away because he touched it, he picked it up and carried it, and it's unfortunate that I knew that was going to happen. And even, as we were changing the subject a little bit, but it's still like the Burgosphere, the same thing. Everybody's holding it, grabbing it, and touching it, and standing in front of it.
I had a dream about that.
Did you?
I dreamed that, yesterday, as a matter of fact, I took a slight nap, and I dreamt that there were like black spheres everywhere, all over. Like every city, every place was reporting black spheres.
Wow.
They were in my backyard.
Wow.
And I woke up thinking, oh my God, is that real? Because sometimes I'm telling you, the things that have happened to me, make me really question everything. Really, I mean, when this shining one showed me how humanity was created and how life was brought here and how they're in charge of taking care of us, but there's something running our planet, and what's running our planet, I've suddenly got this, I don't know, 9-foot tall lizard man, snake man in front of me. I mean, he was showing me, trying to show me everything that was happening on the planet and who is running it. But I was so freaked out about the whole situation. I just wanted out of there.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of information to get in one shot. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like overload.
Yeah.
Brain overload, man, because I mean, I can picture what you experienced in my mind, just as we're talking about it. I'm sure everybody else can
question
as well.
Everything.
Yeah, question everything. And I always say it to everybody, you know, keep an open mind. You know, even our conversation, it might sound kind of weird, kind of freaky, whatever, but
it's hard.
It is hard. It is hard to talk about, and to keep an open mind, because you know, you did experience something, you know, not once, not twice, maybe 5 or 10 times already, you know.
And then, happening.
I know. And then on top of that, I mean, I see the videos and photos that you post out there of you're always catching these UFOs around your area, around where you live.
It's a feeling. I don't know what it is, but to me, it's not like I know. It's like a feel it. It's like a feeling,
right.
like a feeling inside my body.
Right. And that's
sometimes it's a voice and a feeling.
And that's what everybody says in the films, in the middle, part 2, from the part 2 and part 3. I asked them, you know, I mean, do you just, they go, man, do you just come outside and you're there? They go, yeah, I have this feeling. And then I come outside and there they are. Right. And they all say that in the films, right? Part 2 and part 3, you know, because
it's like a feeling, calling feeling.
Yeah.
Like a feeling. And then you hear like, come outside. That's what it is. That's, for me, it's like that.
Wow. Yeah, I believe it. Hey, let's go ahead and take another one last break before we finish our conversation. So we'll be back just after these messages.
Miro al cielo, gotas caen sin freno. Corazones buscan luz en terreno lleno. Entre sombras y luces juega el destino, ritmo del alma, un amor divino. Caminando lento en un mundo mojado, susurros en el aire, futuro anunciado. El diluvio acaricia sensaciones nuevas, vibraciones conectan, abren las cuevas.
Alien Strand Podcast.
Bendita, calma y despierta. Abro la puerta, el amor en oferta. Callejones de neón, un laberinto raro.
All right, welcome back to the show, and we have Miss Marisol, as we were talking about our conversation with the extraterrestrials, the shiny ones, and you know, we were talking about 3-Eye Atlas. We've been talking about, you know, these extraterrestrial vehicles that fly around her general area, you know, where she lives, and you know, it's just it's almost unbelievable that what you have been through, but have witnessed yourself. But I mean, it is believable to a lot of us, because I as a researcher have been researching this for a long time, not just your case, but a lot of other people's cases, and everybody's cases, they're a little different, but they're all the same in a sense, right? So your mind has opened up. You're going through, you know, different changes in life, of course, as a young person, and then a young adult, and then now we're as we get older, you know, things are just starting to come naturally, as these feelings that you're catching these extraterrestrial vehicles, or even hearing voices, or even having dreams of possible future events, right? So, I mean, You know, as we're talking here, I mean, your book, you're going to be talking about how to pay attention to, of course, children and you know, things like that. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of chapters in there on that, and you know,
Yes.
to believe in what people are saying, because we're not crazy and we're not a bunch of kooks, right?
No.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, have now.
I
that,
mean, I had no idea the Shining Ones really do exist. I really thought it was a story. I thought it was all made up just to control me. I thought it was all a lie, really.
why do you think?
I'm
Why do you
telling
think
you.
that they picked you to tell you?
It's not just me. It's that because I asked him that. I asked him why me. I mean, I'm a sinner. I was standing in front of something that was holy, something that was different, very different,
Right.
and you could feel it. I could feel it, and within my soul, it was like penetrating everything, every fiber of my being. And what he told me was that we are their children, we are descendants. That it's not just me. That they choose people and tribes, and they follow those people and those tribes throughout their whole lifespan, throughout all their generations. That we are precious. That if we really knew who we are, that none of this would be happening. All the control will be gone.
Right.
We'd be living in heaven on earth.
Right. You know, and it's true, because I mean, if you think about it, if you really think back from the very beginning, let's just go back a little bit. So at the very beginning, you know, even when man first became, you know, we were Neanderthalic or whatever, you know, walking the earth with, let's just say, dinosaurs, or even before that, right? And you know, with the intention of the mind started growing more and more, you know, as we became more humanistic, right? So as we started getting more intelligent, we started using things to barter, right? And this is where it all started, right? To barter or trade, right? For the things that we needed, right? Back in the day, this is I'm talking way back there, right? So
The draconian money system.
right? And when we started doing that, we created a system of almost of a greed effect, right? Because everything's gonna come to greed. Okay, oh, here we go. So now we're living in villages. Oh no, you got to pay to live here. You got to pay taxes. You got to pay this, right? Back in 1760s.
People need to get ready for what's coming.
Right, and then here
Money's
we go.
not going to be worth anything.
Exactly. So and we've pushed the human concept. We think of it as this is natural, right? This is the way it's supposed to be, right? If you're kind of closed-minded, right? I just have money in my pocket. I'm just going to live my life, blah, blah, I die. It's all black. It's over, right? There's a lot of people that...
Yeah, that's what you think.
That's a lot of people...
Sometimes I thought that way.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think like that. But once you have not just experienced this, but a lot of us have not experienced it, but we are open-minded to where the general concept is that we created this monster within ourselves. So, and what it is that as human beings, we've already separated each other as not as humans anymore, as a certain kind, right? And it's horrible that what we do to each other.
We were taught that.
Yeah, exactly.
The separation.
Exactly.
Was taught to humanity.
Exactly. But the problem is that we still keep showing that and teaching it to other people or children or whatever, and it makes a dark sense of who we are as humans, right? Because to tell you the truth,
it is done purposely to isolate the soul, the human. And once you're isolated, they can control and indoctrinate your children, and that is what's been happening throughout centuries. They've been indoctrinating our children. They've been feeding them lies.
Well, and then you think
we're basically like in a huge video game.
Exactly.
Your soul is everlasting, and what it's very precious.
And what these spiritual beings were telling, or these shining ones were telling, hey man, you know, you come from a long lineage that you weren't here, you were from somewhere else, and you know, we've been watching over you, the good ones,
and they love us. That's what he said. That they love us, that we're precious, and that they're here to protect us and the planet. And what has been happening to the planet is all due to the draconian overtaking of the planet. And plus, they've used religion to enslave humanity even more. They want you to think that you can find God and spirituality outside of yourself. This is a video game.
Yeah.
This outside part of yourself that it feels so real, it isn't. It's an illusion. It is what your mind is sending out. What you really are is your soul. Your soul is very powerful. It's free. It can leave this vessel and travel beyond the stars, beyond space and time. You are eternal, and that is because of the grace of God.
Right.
These shining ones, they gave me a different understanding of what God is and what their job is. I mean, as a child, you're taught in scripture that man was created out of dirt.
Right.
A kid is curious. I made a couple of dirt mummies, and they never came to life.
Right.
And so I asked my mom, I said, Mom, I've got these 2 mud mummies, and I want them to come to life like Jesus, made humanity. How come it doesn't work for me? And she smiled and she said, well, because you're not God.
Yeah.
And only God can do that. But as you get older, you start learning about science. You start learning about cells. You start learning that, well, maybe man wasn't made out of a big pile of dirt.
Yeah.
They were made out of material, genetic material, and this being was showing me that the very spark that creates and animates the cell and gives it life, it is God.
Right.
God is within you before you even start.
Well, I mean, and I've talked
we forget that.
I talked to John about this as well. I told him, I said, hey, well, we talked about the beginning of man and things like that as well. And I just told him, I said, if that was the case, if we were just made out of that one cell or whatever, then everybody would be John, or there would be nothing else on this planet. We wouldn't have horses or cows or chickens or everything with different structures, right? And I know there's evolution of time, things change. Yeah, of course, right? But it starts somewhere, right? And from the very beginning, right? So if what's to say that different things weren't put on this planet at that one time?
That's what he was showing me.
Yeah.
This is what he was showing me, the shining one. Okay. I wanted to know, why are there so many diverse nationalities and peoples, like Chinese, Africans, Hispanics, whites, all these people? Mm-hmm. Why are we so diverse and different? Mm-hmm. His response to me is that just like the human race is diverse, so are they. They are very diverse. Right. There's many different types of angelic beings. And so all of the human race are part of different races of angels.
Wow.
So they have families. They're invested in us. They created this planet specifically for us. They've brought plants and fruit trees from other parts of the galaxy to put here on this planet for us until the intruders came. Now, the intruders were here before. Okay, we all kind of all started the same. But these reptilians matured and evolved a lot quicker than we did. And they had an advantage. We were very innocent, like we were still childlike. These reptilians were very advanced. They were tweaking what the angels had already placed here. And because of their tweaking of the human race and the control, this is where we are today. But these angelic Anunnakis or shining ones, I call them shining ones, they know what's going on. And it's time for this to stop. They're tired of watching humanity rip itself apart.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Most of human race, if we don't change, we're not going to be here.
Exactly. Well, and then just kind of, I know we're coming to the end of the show, but I just want to just kind of end it with, I've researched a couple of stories how in the past, in the 50s, in the 40s, how when they would see an extraterrestrial, kind of human looking, some of them were kind of human looking, some weren't, but this is what they were doing. They would catch them like in a field, and they would see these ETs grabbing plants or small trees or things that they were grabbing, that's vegetables and things like that, right? Because, and it makes sense too, where if these extraterrestrials come from a bigger planet or something that's totally different, and it seems like to me that they would possibly have all of this already, right? They should have all of it, right? But why grab it from here, right? Because it's something special that was put here, right, for us to consume, right? And
exactly.
So this is why they can't grow any food where they're at, or maybe having issues with that, or something that's compatible to them to take off planet to their planet, so that way they can try to make more food for themselves, because that was not given to them. It was only given to us here, right? For that
It's so
point.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, let me tell you, when this shining one, all he had to do was say something and it would appear in front of you. It was like he can control both space and matter with only his will of willing something. It was there. It really freaked me out. Not only everything that he was trying to tell me and explain to me, I really wasn't ready. Emotionally, mentally, I was not ready for everything he was showing me. And I'm glad that he did, though, because it changed my whole life. Now, I'm not telling you that I go to church. I don't.
Right.
I do not go to church, but I pray, and I know that God lives within me and within all of you.
Right.
I know that we are all sisters and brothers. We have star families. I know that we're headed for a huge change, that a lot of people, if they don't prepare themselves spiritually, are never going to, their souls are going to be entrapped always and forever. You have an opportunity now to free yourself. Recognize that you are precious. You are more than just what you think you are. You are a powerful source that came from far, far away. We're, I don't know, maybe like 5 billion years older than the planet.
Right.
So change your habits, do things. If you can help somebody, help them, because you're being watched.
Yeah, exactly. And it teaches us to be, what you were just saying right now, it's for us to be better people and be better with each other and love each other, and just keep doing the good things, right? No, don't be screaming and yelling and be angry and all kinds for what? For nothing.
Forgive, really, it's petty.
Yeah, it's petty. So, Marisol, thank you for being on the show today. Man, it's just been an amazing conversation with you as always, and I hope a lot of people got a lot of good information from your experience and what you were shown, and it's just been an incredible conversation with you. You got anything to say out there to people before we close out?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening, and also my book, look out for it. It should be out by March. I'm aiming for the middle of March 20th, March 26th. So it'll be out there.
Right on, yeah. And once that comes out, I know you're going to send me a copy, so that way
Definitely.
I can. Yeah, I can't wait to read it. And today, like I said, I'll throw some links to this podcast and things that to your Facebook. So if people want to contact you, they can contact you there. And I just want to say, thank you for being on the show today, and I really appreciate you and everything, all the insights you gave everyone out there. Whether they believe or they don't. This is an open concept. Yeah, this is an open concept.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a good concept, and it's a good thing that you experience those things. But again, thank you, Marisol. I really appreciate you here visiting Alien Strand and being a part of Alien Strand Disclosure Project. You've been doing an amazing job out there.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, we'll catch you on the next one, and we'll talk to you here in a bit.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. As me and Marisol had an amazing conversation. It went deep. it went pretty deep on those conversations, But you know what? These are things that she experienced, and then she wanted to tell the world. She wants to tell the world exactly what had happened to her, because it was some stuff was traumatic, some wasn't. At the very end, it gave her, I think, more peace, right? At the end of the story, right, and to where she was able to understand things a little bit better. And even though the trauma and the turmoil that came in between, there's light at the end of the tunnel on this story, right? And I hope you guys got that out of this story and got a lot of good information out of it, and just it teaches you to be better people, man, and better human beings, to just kind of help one another when you can, right? That's what you do, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed today's Alien Strand podcast with Miss Marisol. We talked about spiritualism, extraterrestrials, the shiny ones. We talked about all kinds of good stuff, man. But I hope you guys really got a good podcast today. Please like, share, subscribe. Go to our Patreon. Go be a free member there. I'll be doing some video podcasts on there as well, and I'll be getting some good stuff out there pretty soon. I'll be showing some presentations, and then I'll be getting some more people on as well. All right, so you guys have yourselves a good day, have yourselves a good evening, and have yourselves a good night.
Through the halls of the silver skies, they descend with their quiet eyes. Wings like whispers, soft and bright. They glow against the fading night. Oh, they see us. Oh, they know. Every shadow, every glow. The shiny ones, they come to save. Through the dark, their light will pave. The shiny ones, with hearts of gold, guarding us.
Alien Strand Podcast. About CE5, an extraterrestrial contact. Download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.